My core philosophy, and for sure, at least probably his secondary but very important philosophy, is only sell shit that works. Most of the credit for thinking flexibly and thinking ahead of the curve goes to Nick Shaw, my business partner. I'm more technically minded. He's more business minded. And if he sleeps, it's very little. And when he doesn't sleep, what keeps him awake is the future of the company and making sure we're doing a great job. And I can say some other things about him that I think are valuable for people who are trying to be successful. I'm going to say this. It hopefully won't backfire on us, but we'll see. And then maybe I was joking. If it does backfire on us, Nick Shaw, our company does a lot of business, tons of customers, right? Lots of throughput. Nick Shaw cares personally. He's a CEO. He's a fucking gazillionaire. He lives in some kind of gated community. They don't let me in. Mr. Shaw can't see you right now. He personally cares about every single customer review, every single one, deeply, to where if he gets a review that is substantively negative, like you guys suck, it's kind of like substantively negative, it hurts him and it keeps him awake and it keeps him contacting the rest of our team and saying, how can we fix this? What do we do about it? Like, holy crap. Like, this is a guy who literally cares about every single customer's every single opinion about the company. That's wild. And I think that may be part of the secret to success, so to speak, is like really, really have to give a shit. And then you really have to, whatever your customers say they want better, whatever they want to improve, whatever they think is bad, you have to try to work on making it to what they want. And of course you can't please everyone, but gee, if you try, then what you have in the end, reach, shoot for the stars. Even if you fail, you land on the moon, which is, by the way, an atmospherically, negligible planet of nothing. But in any case, like, maybe that's what it takes in part, is really caring about the customer delivery. Because in the end, like, if you care about customers, that's how you make all your money.
It makes sense. Like
I think
they're the ones paying you, and like if you get a bad customer review, that is the earliest lead indicator of something possibly going wrong. And if you're starting to see these kind of little cracks, which could be negative reviews, it makes sense to quickly squash them like bugs straight away.
What's really interesting, Mike, is the two sides of this. So you're describing Nick's kind of core personality trait is deeply caring about the people you serve and sell to, which seems completely rational, right? And I think a lot of personal trainers can relate to that if they have some in-person clients, they care about them a lot. The idea of caring about hundreds or thousands of people starts to look a bit different, because that doesn't necessarily mean that you can physically speak to every single one of those people or give each one of those people a bespoke service. And something you said was, when you were making the templates, this realization of like, hold on, like this is not necessarily something that has to be done manually every time. There's an algorithm here, which led to the app. So, I mean, that sounds like that's coming from the same place of like, actually, I can deliver a quality experience at scale that just almost takes the human element out of it.
I'll tell you this, that's absolutely correct. The human element is a part of, but not the core and only thing that people are looking for. And the human element is just one of the pathways to what people are really looking for, which is the body and health that they want more than they want less. Some kind of marginal, preferably large improvement, problem solving. That's what it is. You could take an analogy from pharmaceuticals versus psychotherapy. People don't go to a psychotherapist just to talk to somebody. That's a very expensive price to pay. You could just go to your local bar and talk to people. They go because they want their psychological problems to be improved. You could also do this through drugs, where they take a pill and their psychological problems be improved. And from what I'm aware of on the research summary of those two, they're roughly evenly effective, drugs and therapy. There's been differences here and there in application, but this fundamental goal is the same. So we always start with the goal. How do we get people in better shape? Give them the shape that they want. Give them the health that they want. Give them the ability to play the sports that they want. And how we deliver that, if they want it delivered through a human being, awesome. If they can have it delivered through a machine interface, great, because that way, in essence, we have like some tens of thousands of people that use the app. That means we have sleepless AI coaches, an army of 10 tens of thousands of sleepless coaches who are always at the back.
Well, that's such an interesting point that, and we say this to the personal trainers that we work with as well, because they often have a sense of guilt attached to like having anything that's scaled or leveraged. And actually, if you can create the ultimate gold standard thing and then be able to copy and paste that, if it gets the result for the client, like let's see, someone follows a program and they get into amazing shape, but they didn't get 3 hours of phone calls a week, they're not going to put in a complaint. Like they got into the shape that they wanted to. And an analogy from a guy we follow called Sam Ovens, who talks about when you go to the dentist and you've got like really bad toothache, you go to the dentist and you say like, can you get rid of this for me? And they go, yep, it's going to cost $3,000. I can do it in 2 minutes. And then you go, what? 2 minutes? Like for $3,000 for a 2-minute job? And they go, well, I can take an hour if you'd like, but it doesn't, like, it's not relevant. You know, you've come to them with a problem, and if they can solve it, it doesn't really matter. Like, you don't care about the effort that it takes them to solve that problem.
I have that's an excellent analogy. I have another piece of input that maybe assuage some of the guilt that these trainers have. When I think it's productive to think of your business as, first of all, in the economic sense of supply and demand. You are supplying a demand. You cannot supply a demand that doesn't exist. So if you start selling 2 things on your site, super high level in-person coaching and literal pieces of shit, like you will ship pieces of shit to people in a box, preferably humidity sealed, so that they retain their shittiness. This dry shit just doesn't really have the same. You know what I'm talking about, gentlemen. I'm not paying an Amazon shipping fee for dry shit. I want the real stuff,
the wet stuff.
If you sell pieces of shit, it's really kind of irrelevant that you're selling that. What is highly relevant is people are buying it. Why the hell are people buying it? And then apparently they need some demand in the literal sense, the pieces of shit. And then, hey, you're providing some kind of good service, right? So what you can do as a service provider, your number one job is to help the customer, period, with whatever they need, however they need it. And if you're like, man, I feel really bad for offering a template coaching service, that's okay. Just don't get rid of your personal coaching service. Have your personal stuff there still, and then offer a templatized version on the site as well. Or when people message you, if you don't have a site, say, hey, listen, like for $300 a month, you can have me phone calls, everything, the deal. For $50 up front, I can send you a template you can sort of run yourself if you have plenty of experience. Because some people are like, look, I've done diets before. I don't need to talk to some guy for 3 fucking hours on the phone. Some people love to have that interactive experience, and some people are just like, why? Like, I've had doctors before. I come in, dentists. The dentist comes in and he's like, how are you doing? I'm like, in my teeth. Like, well, what series of pleasantries can I say to move this along faster? Irrelevant pleasantries. I just want to have like a digital, like a touch screen where I could be like, I communicate in a long form to him that I'm fundamentally okay, a good person, our values are aligned. Please, for the love of fucking God, get to work on my teeth. Like, all is well. Go. Right? Some people just really want much more of that than they want, like, how are you today? How's your relationship with food? Like, that's good stuff. Tons of people want that too. So if you offer up that alternative and people take it and you're not lying to them, you're not like, this template is completely customized. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's not completely customized. Like, you'll have my interactive availability, just a tiny little print, like for an extra $100 a month. Like, don't do shit like that. Be honest about what they're getting. And then when they get it, they will usually like it because that's what they fucking wanted, right? It's like, if you think only steak and lobster is what you do, then you're essentially saying the McDonald's business is total shit because they make cheap, awful hamburgers and nuggets, and their nuggets aren't even as good as Wendy's. What the hell is going on? How much money does McDonald's make every year? And fundamentally, I would say McDonald's makes a lot more people happier at just a very guttural level of humanity than any steakhouse in the world. I mean, because it's so cheap and so effective. So there's a broad range of things you could be offering, and you don't ever need to feel guilt about it, because if the customer likes it, you're done. That's it. And of course, if it works. So the other core philosophy of the business, the first core philosophy, is actually not to please the customer. And there's a bit of a thing with Nick and I, a bit of yin and yang, a bit of push and pull. My core philosophy, and for sure, at least probably his secondary, but very important philosophy, is only sell shit that works, period. Our best understanding of the science, or at least damn close to it, that works really, really well. And then his side is make sure the customer is happy.